Hello everyone and welcome to the WCG for quarterfinal 4 of the 2022 TextBet Australia Day T20 Big Bash, which sees an interesting battle for the last remaining ticket to the semi-finals as the Group D winners Smack My Pitch Up take on the new boys on the block taking over. And glory awaits one of these two sides as they will qualify for the semi-finals for the very first time. So as we take a look at both sides' roads to the quarterfinal, the men in orange Smack My Pitch Up finishing with a 100% record to top Group D, easily accounting for Nice Gary and the Six Offenders, and they will head into this quarterfinal full of confidence. As for taking over, they did enough to finish in second in Group C behind the Puff and Billies and have shown plenty of promise in their 2 matches so far. Captains are in the middle, ready for the toss. Lowest ranked side is taking over, so they will get the call. It's a heel. So it's the Smack My Pitch Up skipper Peter Fowler who wins the toss, and he is elected to bowl first in this 4th quarterfinal. As we take a look at his side now, for their 2nd successive quarterfinal at the Australia Day T20 Big Bash, it's been Ryan McFarlane who they've looked to with the bat so far in this tournament, and he's been pretty impressive so far on his debut. And it's Jake Kasacha who's been the destroyer with the ball, picking up 4 wickets so far in the tournament, and they'll look towards him with the ball once again. As we take a look at taking over side for this do-or-die quarterfinal, all 3 members of their side have contributed so far, and they look like a pretty handy outfit that can cause the men in orange some problems today, with all 3 competent enough with the bat and with the ball, and they'll fancy themselves to make the semi-finals in their debut tournament. And just before we get underway, we'd like to thank our major partner for this year's tournament, TextBet, who have been fantastic since jumping on board. Bet local, bet with Tex. How's that? The Nif Nuffs and the Six Offenders already in the semi-finals. One of these teams will join them. It's Smack My Pitch Up taking over. Let's get it on. And it's going to be TJ English who will get this innings underway for taking over. Was impressive at the top of the order in their opening match defeat against the Puff and Billies. Can he get them off to another strong start in this quarterfinal? So the final ticket to the semi-finals up for grabs. It's going to be McFarlane to English first up. Here he's in now. This one's a back of lane delivery, and English tucks this off his hip, and it's fielded by Peter Fowler for no run. So a decent start with the ball there from McFarlane, as he'll continue to English in the opening over. Here he's in now. This one's a full delivery, and English gets a thick inside edge onto the fence once again, and this time he moves through for a single to open his account in this quarterfinal. So a bit streaky there from English, but he's off the mark nevertheless. So taking over, no wicket for 1 in the opening over, as McFarlane will continue to English now. And this one's a shorter delivery. It's played away on the leg side once again to Peter Fowler, who makes the stop smartly to his right on this occasion. So a good battle early on in this quarterfinal between 2 pretty evenly matched sides, as McFarlane's in once again to English, and this one's played back to McFarlane. Oh, and I think English thought he was out here. Hang on, I think this is surely a bump ball, isn't it? Yeah, he's hit this into the ground, and English thought he was out. Well, there you go. At least we know he's a walker, but he survives. Quite a bizarre moment to begin this quarterfinal, as McFarlane's in for the final ball of the opening over, and this one's played away to Fowler again, who makes the stop once again. No wicket for 1 after 1. It'll be Jake Kasacha to bowl the 2nd over of the innings. As he's in now to English, he begins with a full toss, he gets a leading edge, and it hits the bin. So Jake Kasacha strikes again in this tournament. He picks up the big wicket of English for just 1. He picks up his 5th wicket in this tournament, and Kasacha is on fire with the ball. Well, the Italian stallion can just do no wrong at the moment. Taking over 1 for 1 in the 2nd over, and that wicket now brings the skipper Michael MAYBURY to the crease. Looks as cool as a cucumber with Durry in hand. Can he produce a captain's knock? So it's Kasacha into MAYBURY first up, and it's a back of a length delivery, and it's a wild swipe there from MAYBURY, who doesn't make contact. So the Crabs on top early on in this quarterfinal, taking over 1 for 1. As Kasacha is in once again to MAYBURY, and this one hits him on the hand, I think, and it drops down in the semicircle as he'll move through for a single. So that's a fierce delivery there from Kasacha, which gets up at the taking over skipper, But he still has the presence of mind to move through for a single. So taking over 1 for 2 in the second over. As Kasaccia will continue again now to Maybury, and this one's a short delivery, and this time he's got every bit of this as he cuts this away for a maximum. It's a rare bad delivery from Kasaccia in this tournament, and it's been dispatched. 1 for 8. So Kasaccia in for the final ball of the second over. Here he's in now, and this one's way overhead height, and this one will have to be rebowled. So the Italian stallion just losing his radar slightly, and he's just allowed taking over to get themselves back on track here. So Kasaccia is in once again for the final ball of the over, and it's a good length delivery outside the off stump, which is let go to end with. So Fowler goes back to McFarlane for the third over of the innings. He's in now to Maybury, and it's a good length delivery, and Maybury drives this on the offside, but it's fielded by Jake Kasaccia for no run. So taking over 1 for 9 into the third over, as McFarlane continues over the wicket to Maybury once again. This one's a full toss, and this one bursts through the hands of Kasaccia and goes away to the boundary. The skipper standing up for his side as he moves into double figures, taking over 1 for 13. So good this from Maybury, who's moved along to 11. As McFarlane's in once again, and this one stays a little low, as it's another wild swipe there from Maybury, but this time he can't make contact. So after 3 pretty one-sided quarterfinals, are we finally getting the epic contest we deserve here? As McFarlane's in once again to Maybury, and this one's another full toss, and this one's another one that gets past Kasaccia for another boundary. Maybury looks on here in this quarterfinal. He moves along to 15, taking over 1 for 17. So McFarlane is in for the final delivery of the third over. Here he's in now, this one's a good length delivery. Maybury's hammered this again, but he's hammered it over the fence. So his cameo comes to an end. McFarlane gets the last laugh as he strikes with his final ball of this quarterfinal. 2 for 17 with 1 to go. So both sides pretty evenly placed as we head into this final over. And that wicket now brings Aaron Gardner to the crease, coming off a score of 18 in his last gig against the Saggy Greens. Can he put the finishing touches on this innings here? So it's going to be the skipper, Pete Fowler, to bowl the final over of the innings. He's in now, this one's a full delivery, hammered down the ground, but it's brilliantly stopped of his own bowling. He has certainly saved the boundary here. As we take a look at the replay, it's a full delivery. It is hammered from Gardner first up, and that is most definitely boundary bound. And who knew the old man was so nimble? So an unlucky start there for Gardner, who fairly hammered that. As Fowler's in once again to him now, and he rocks back on the back foot and cuts this away brilliantly through the gap for his first boundary of the innings. It wasn't a bad delivery from Fowler. He just rocks back on the back foot and crunches it. Great shot. Fowler to continue to Gardner in the final over. Here he's in now, this one's another good length delivery, and it's hammered down the ground this time for back-to-back boundaries for Gardner. Well, he most certainly is putting the final touches on this innings. He moves to 9, the score 2 for 26. So taking over, heading towards a decent total in this quarterfinal, as Fowler is in once again now, and it's played down the ground once again, but he moves smartly off his own bowling to field for no run. So a priceless dot for the men in orange as we arrive at the final delivery of the innings, taking over 2 for 26. As Fowler's in once again, this one's a back of a length delivery, and I think he's got a bottom edge through to the keeper to end the innings on a high here for the men in orange. They keep taking over underneath 30. It's a decent little cameo from Gardner at the back end of the innings, and it's 27 to get for the men in orange. So in what was a pretty decent contest between bat and ball, taking over a bold effort, 26 with the final delivery of the innings. The skipper, Michael Maybury, top scoring for taking over with 15. Kasaccia, McFarlane and Fowler picking up a wicket each for the men in orange. And for the first time in this quarter-final series, it looks like we've got a decent chase on our hands. 27 to get for the men in orange. And it will be Ryan McFarlane who will get this run chase underway for Smack My Pitch Up. Scores of 7 not out and 13 so far at the top of the order in this tournament. Can he get his side off to the start they need in this one? So it's 27 to get here for the men in orange, and it's going to be Aaron Gardner to bowl around the wicket first up. Here he's in now, and McFarlane gets a thick inside edge onto his body, and he's going to scoot through for a single first up. And it's good wheels there from the big man, who gets his account underway. So the men in orange open their account here in this run chase. And that was good wheels from the big man, who moved like a flash to complete that single. to get his side off and racing in this one. So it'll be Gardner to continue around the wicket in the opening over. He's in now. This one's a good length delivery. He's got an edge through to the keeper. So taking over, pick up the big wicket of McFarlane cheaply. And that is just what the doctor ordered for the Fluros. McFarlane goes for one. Smack might pitch up in early trouble in this run chase. Smack might pitch up 1 for 1 in the opening over, as that wicket now brings the skipper, Peter Fowler, to the crease at number 2. Finished 8 not out to get his side home against Smack might pitch up in their last encounter. Can he produce a captain's knock in this one? So it'll be Gardner who's going to stay around the wicket. Into Fowler for his first delivery, and he's hammered this down the ground for a maximum. First ball. Well, no pressure there whatsoever from the skipper, who stands and delivers. He's got every bit of that. It's 6 runs. So a brilliant start there for Peter Fowler, as Gardner will continue to him now in the opening over. Here he's in now. This one's played away towards the boundary on the leg side once again. And I think this has been stopped here by Michael Maybury. If he's got to this, this is a brilliant bit of fielding. Here's we take a look. It's headed to the boundary for all money. Oh, he's got to be close there, doesn't he? It's been given as 1. So Smack might pitch up 1 for 8 as he arrive at the final delivery of the opening over. As Gardner goes back over the wicket now. He's in now. This one's a back of a length delivery. And it's a wild hoik across the line from Fowler to end with. 1 for 8 after 1. It's going to be TJ English who will bowl the second over of the innings. As in now over the wicket to Fowler, and it's a good length delivery to begin with. As there's an appeal here from Maybury, the skipper. Yeah, I wonder if he's got a little feather through to the keeper. The umpire says not out. Here's we have a look. Oh, he's missed it by a year. Maybury on a mad one. English to continue to Fowler in the second over. Here he's in now. This one's a good length delivery, and Fowler gets a thick outside edge onto the fence, and he's going to move through for a single. So good busy cricket this from the Crab skipper, who has moved along to 8. Smack might pitch up 1 for 9 in the second over, requiring a further 18 for victory, as English will continue to Fowler in the second over. Here he's in now, and he gets a thick inside edge, and I think it's onto his leg, and it trickles onto the auto wiki, so he's going to have to turn around and go back. So this is box office stuff here in this 4th quarter final. We know that Fowler only plays one way. A wicket here will break this contest open, as TJ English is into Fowler once again, and he advances down the wicket, and it's a swing and a miss here from the Crab skipper. So you'd have to say that probably taking over the happier of the two sides with where things stand, as we arrive at the final delivery of the over. He's in now to Fowler, and he plays this one down the ground. It's a thick inside edge, and it gets past Maybury for a boundary. So Fowler standing up for the Cubs in this quarter final as he moves along to 12. Smack might pitch up 1 for 13 after 2. So 14 to get from 10 deliveries. It's going to be Aaron Gardner bowl the third over of the innings, and begins with an absolute beauty, which has the beating of Fowler all ends up. But from his point of view, unfortunately, no nick. However, a priceless dot. 14 to get from 9 deliveries. As Gardner is in once again to Fowler, who gets a thick outside edge, and it gets past Maybury there at cover for a maximum. That is just what the doctor ordered for the men in orange. 1 for 19. So the pendulum swings once again towards the men in orange, as Gardner is in once again to Fowler, who plays this upwardly down the ground. He's hit it for another boundary. It's gone all the way for 6 once again. The skipper standing up with the blade in this quarter final, and the men in orange are in touching distance of a semi-final berth. So just 2 to get now for Smack might pitch up, as Gardner is in once again to Fowler, who advances, well, to say the least. He has basically run down the pitch here, and I don't know what he's tried to do. Perhaps the occasion just getting to the skipper there. Oh, it's a good bit of bowling actually from Gardner, who saw him coming. So just 2 to get from 7 deliveries. The Fluros need a wicket. Here is Gardner is in once again to Fowler, and this one slid down the leg side. So scores are level here in the 4th quarter final. And how this game has turned on its head in the last 4 balls or so. So Gardner will continue to Fowler in the 3rd over. Here he's in now, and this one rises at Fowler, and he plays this well on the offside, and he moves through for a single. Smack might pitch up, qualify for the semi-finals. They keep their 100% record in this tournament to keep their title hopes alive. The skipper finishing 25 not out, to guide his side into the semi-finals and a meeting with the Nif-Nuffs. So in what was easily the most even contest of these quarterfinals, it's the men in orange Smack My Pitch Up who prevailed by 2 wickets here and booked their ticket to the Final Four. It was another good showing from Taking Over, who are an emerging power in this tournament, but they crash out at the quarterfinal stage in their debut tournament. However, they've done themselves proud and can hold their heads up high looking forward to next year. So the quarterfinals are done, and we look ahead to the Final Four now. It's semi-final time at the Australia Day T20 Big Bash, and we have 2 absolute beauties for 2 tickets to the big dance. Semi-final 1 sees the 2-time champions and group of death winners, how's that, taking on the tournament dark horses, the 6 offenders, and these 2 meet for the first time since 2019. And semi-final 2 sees a first ever meeting between 2 emerging powers in this tournament. The Nif-Nuffs and Smack My Pitch Up do battle, as one of these sides will qualify for the grand final for the first time in their history. So as we look ahead to semi-final 1, which is up next, it's the 2-time champions, the only team remaining in the competition who have won the tournament previously, looking to qualify for a 4th grand final. But in their way stand the youngsters, the 6 offenders, who are looking to create history themselves and qualify for the grand final for the first time in their history. The first ticket to the grand final coming up next.